Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Dr. Ann. She's a passionate teacher when it comes to men's health, helping men understand that sometimes complex issues surrounding men's health and vitality, sexual function, and how these affect the most important relationships in their lives. Dr. Ann, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. This is the
Thank
second
you for
time you're
having me
here.
back.
Yes,
Yeah.
I loved having you on the first time. Now we're doing more video. So, Dr. Ann, how are you? And second, what was Dr. Ann's journey to get here to today?
Well, thank you for having me be here, and I'm glad to help. And my passion is to be able to educate and give access to men and women with sexual dysfunction resources that they need to get out of sexual dysfunction.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm glad you're here for that. And today's topic is a good one: is overcoming addiction to porn. Dr. N, in your studies and in your talking to other men and all that, is it the reason why more and more men, or I don't know the percentage, you might know that are addicted to porn? Is it because of relationship status, that they're not out there meeting women, or is it maybe because like what you cover, sexual dysfunction, ED? Is it a combination of a few things that more and more men, or at least some men, are becoming addicted to porn?
Well, let's back up a little bit and let's just define what is addicted to porn. The latest studies in 2016 had actually come out and said you can't just say men watching porn equate to ED. That is not that linear relationship.
Right.
And it doesn't show that, again, the hours of watching porn equal ED. However, if you throw in the mix of watching porn to a point where it overcome your life and taking the role of socialization, taking you away from your family, taking you away from doing the things that, like, from your work. I have talked to many men that that had porn induced ED, and they actually watch porn maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. They're not watching porn 8 hours, 10 hours a day.
But even
But
1 to 2 hours is long.
yeah, just 1 or 2 hours. Yeah. So it doesn't equate how long, but what it means is that if porn is becoming a replacement for you to socialize with people, or if porn is a way for you to get away from your relationship with your wife or your partner, or if you when you're working and you're watching porn instead of when you're working, and it's affecting your productivity, it is affecting how you socialize, how you learn socialization skills to connect with other people, then yes, that's when it becomes problematic. And then mix in with that is sense of guilt, sense of shame, because that person that's watching porn, they know that that's not right, and there's some shame to it, and that thought deepens the problem more, because they know that they're using porn as a replacement, but it's just so much easier. So that's the step one. So the studies that I talk about have shown that if the person's watching porn and it's a replacement for their socialization, and it's affecting their daily life and functioning, and then on top of that there is shame related to it, and then that will somewhat lead to ED. Now ED, as in the sense of meaning that if that guy is watching porn and now he is together with his partner, and he just cannot function with his partner, that's ED, right? So that's something to consider. So it's not equating to the amount of time, and it's not a linear. So there's other complexity that goes into that as well. And now accessibility to porn is so easy. You can stream now on your phone and on your laptop, versus when I was growing up in the 80s, we didn't have that. You had a VHS, and you had the magazine. it's less accessible, and you can't even buy the VHS unless you're 18 and over, I believe. Can't even go
Right.
to the adult store. And so it's now more accessible, and now with the age of playing video games too, everybody have access to that the equipment, and so I think we're seeing more in that it's easier to get sex satisfaction through porn than it is to try to go out and date somebody and try to have sex with somebody.
No, I
So
definitely
a
get it. Yeah.
guy, yeah, so a guy can watch porn and have satisfaction through porn and not have to deal with the relationship that he has to get be involved with another person for that. So the porn is almost like an easy outlet for satisfaction. And certainly there more men doing porn than there is women doing porn, though we still don't know the exact number. And so I think that's why we're seeing more of a rise with that,
Yeah.
and because it's so convenient and so easy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. Can watching that much porn, whether like you said, 1 to 2 hours a day, can it affect a relationship if you're with a woman or a partner where performance wise, because you watching porn so much, you maybe you have a favorite star that you're watching or whatever. Can it affect the performance in the bedroom?
Well,
Because
like I said before,
yeah.
if it's not the amount of hours that you're watching, but if you're watching porn and it's your way of coping with
Mm.
avoiding relationship, your ways of coping with socialization with people, and that is it's essentially replacing porn. It's becoming your wife, and
Yeah.
porn is what you visualize as what sexual satisfaction should be, that you should be lasting. If the guy thinking he should be lasting 3 hours, or that he should be the size of that porn star on the movie, or that the woman should be looking like that porn star in the movie, then that will affect his perception
Oh.
when he is having sex with his partner. And also he's being stimulated by 2D, just visual. Now, in my last interview, and I think I always say the brain is the largest sexual organ. It is the largest sexual organ, not the organ below the belt.
Right.
So in order for you to get stimulated and to have an erection, you need to have stimulus from the five senses that we have, which is the eyes, the nose, the mouth, what you hear and what you touch. Those are the five senses. Those
Mm.
five senses have to input into your brain that it's intermixed with your emotion at that time. All right. And then hormone gets released in the brain that is relayed to the nerve in the back of your head, and that is send messages to your heart, increases your heart, and then your blood vessels start to relax and open, so that way you can get more blood flowing through the genital area, and the muscle of the male genitalia has to relax, so that way the blood flows in there, and therefore you have an erection. So there is six systems that is involved: the brain, the emotion, the hormone, the nerve, the blood vessels, and the muscle. Right? They
Okay.
all have to get involved, and they have to be in synergy to work together. So what the point I'm trying to get at is that when you get into stimulation from watching something, that's just probably sound and vision, right? You're not using the smell, the taste, and the touch
Mm.
part, other than touching yourself, right? So the brain is getting stimulus from the screen, instead of getting stimulus from a real person in the ambient. So sometimes the recircuitry is also you're confusing the brain
Yeah.
and how to start an arousal response. Does that make sense?
No, it definitely
So
makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
so if you're used to seeing somebody attractive, or you're used to seeing your spouse that's attractive, that's turning you on, you're getting aroused, you're getting in the mood, you're turning on music, you're touching her, you're getting, we're starting foreplay. But with porn, you don't have it. You don't have this touch. You're not getting, you're not getting the ambience. You're not using all your senses
Mm.
that start the arousal in the brain. So the brain arousal pathway is being misfiring, and it may throw off some emotion, right? Because if you're stressed, or if you're depressed, you're anxious, that kind of dampen the arousal response as well. So,
Right.
it's watching porn, there may be some anxiety, there may be some other, like I said, the shame feeling that's involved with that plays a role as well too. So essentially the sensory input from the natural sensory input of the five senses and the emotion are not the same from watching on the screen versus when you're with somebody. Does
Right.
that make
No,
sense?
no, it definitely makes sense because I'm thinking too, Doc, and we're talking with Dr. Antron. Today's topic is overcoming addiction to porn. Is it like, and you said it could be anxiety about maybe performing in the bedroom with that partner of yours, because now, you're watching porn and it's easier because it's easy access, like you said before. So how is there some ways that to overcome that, and I hate to say addiction, but let's say trying to cut down on viewing porn. Are
Right,
there some
right,
ways that you would
right.
suggest?
Uh-huh.
Yes, go
Right.
ahead.
Well, it's not, yeah, it's not addiction, it's more like a dependency, right?
Okay, so let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, a dependency. A dependency meaning that you need porn to get turned on. So yes, absolutely. The first part is to know that porn will it just for know that if you're not performing as well with another person, and that you're watching a lot of porn, there's a little disconnect there. And just real,
Yeah.
the first part starts with, you know what, maybe I need to cut down on porn. It may not be a bad thing. I'm not against porn. I mean, I watch porn too to get aroused to and to get into the mood sometime. But it's that if the man is starting to say, okay, well, I can function well when I'm watching porn, but when I'm with another person, I can't function. Well, that's when he started to realize, well, maybe I need to kind of stop porn for a while.
Hmm.
So the number one way to have better sexual function outside of porn is to stop it. Is to
Right.
I stop it for 90 days, literally 90 days. 3 months is a time frame that kind of detox your brain out um, from it, because porn provides what is called sexual anorexia. Sexual
Mm.
anorexia because you don't have to deal with another partner. It's just you're just by yourself and that's it. So porn provides a sexual anorexia, but you don't have to deal with the relationship and all the other factors that with another person. So the first thing is to realize that, hey, if you're not functioning the same as you are when you're watching porn versus another person, is to admit that there is a dependency. And
Right.
then number two, stop porn. Number three is to appreciate and spend the time with your partner, your spouse, to try to get aroused again, with a person, and using your five senses of your vision, the smell, the taste, the sound, and the touch,
Yeah.
right? So all those five senses, the more senses that you input into your brain, the more stimulus your brain gets into, get you more aroused quicker.
Okay.
Most of the men that I treat, they think that, oh, my wife and I were in bed. I should be ready to go. I go, did you spend time foreplay? Did you spend time, touching? Did you spend time feeling, talking? No. Well, why would you expect to get in bed? You're ready to go in 2 minutes. You got to
Right.
rev up the engine. You got to get it going. So you got to use those five senses into the brain, and then and then and then you got to be in the mood. You got to not be distracted. You're not, decrease the stress. If you or you're not, you should be relaxed. So that way, the hormones get to be released. So the point I'm trying to make is stop it, and try to use your five senses and get back to having intercourse with another person, getting to the basics of that, and using the five senses. If you were going to do therapy, you're going to go to a sex therapist, they will treat you a therapy pathway called sensitive focus,
Right.
which is developed by Masters and Johnson in the 60s, in really using your senses and appreciating your partner, appreciating, and just taking the time to enjoy your five senses and appreciate and listen to your arousal, and be attuned to how your body feels, how your partner body feels, and pleasuring your partner first, and then you get pleasure while you're pleasuring your partner. So it's all about sensation and feeling, rather than just focusing on, okay, am I firm enough, hard enough for for sex? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because if you
yeah.
focus on the senses, everything else will follow.
Okay.
Everything else will follow. So
No, that's a great point. I liked about using your five senses. To me, you made like 3 steps to stop stop watching porn. I love the 90 days of being porn free, which is good. So if there's a situation, Dr. Ann, where whether it's the man or the woman and they feel that they need to masturbate, are we using images? Do we use pictures? Do we use our mental stimulation to,
yes, absolutely. If you feel the need to masturbate, the best way is images.
Okay.
Close your eyes, close your eyes, turn on the music, turn on the music. You don't have to close your eyes, but just maybe look at a picture that you found aroused, maybe a
Okay.
magazine, and then turn on the music, do some aromatherapy for the smell, and maybe eat some chocolate ahead of time,
Gotcha.
have some chocolate, and watermelon's also a good aphrodisiac, and chocolate and spicy food actually is an aphrodisiac too. Fruits and vegetables like spinach, beet, collard green, cabbage is stimulate nitrous oxide. Fruits stimulate nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide is critical for relaxing the blood vessels, so you get more blood flow. So what you eat also will put you in the mood as well. So
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember when we had our
yeah,
last interview, we had the morning
uh-huh,
wood shake, which was a
that's right.
great idea. So,
Uh-huh.
okay, so that's a great idea. Is definitely using images, music, obviously foods, eating
The
chocolate,
smell, yeah,
smell.
smells,
Yeah,
smells, because we know that using smells, it can induce pheromones, right? So if you smell something, you ever smell somebody cologne, you're like, oh God, that turns me
that's
on,
true.
right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true. Yes.
right. Whatever cologne that turn you on, use that cologne, and the food you eat, and and then using your touch, and so the best way to masturbate is imagery. Imagery, put that image in your mind, because we know that a man that is paralyzed from the neck down, and that doesn't even have sensation in their hand, is able to get an erection. How? From imagery,
Right.
from thinking about it, put his mind in the right state, and appreciating the smell and the five senses. Even though he doesn't have to touch, he uses all his four senses
Okay.
to create an erection. So the masturbation, the best way is to do the imagery, but that way you have control of your senses. You have
Right.
control of your arousal response, instead of just using porn as the
Right. And
way
you're not
to get
dependent on
aroused.
porn, right? Because you can control
Yes.
yourself. You got the images, you got the scenery, you got the foods and all that. And all right, I definitely get that. Well, first of all, Dr.
Aromatherapy. Don't forget the
Oh,
aromatherapy.
aromatherapy. Okay. No, definitely got to put that down on the on the show notes. Well, first of all, Dr. Ann, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me and people on dating. Before I let you go, talk more about your ebook.
Right, thank you. I have written an ebook. It's a short read on the 5 common mistakes men with ED make. After treating 7,000 men with ED, I see the common mistake. And the first thing I want to say, men, take it easy on yourself. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, and don't expect yourself to perform like that porn star. Remember, that's fantasy. That's
Yeah.
not real, because they cut. They make a film where they can cut, they can paste, so it's not real. And so you don't put so much pressure on themselves. Today, I mean, at only 1 o'clock, I've seen like 5 men, and they put so much pressure on themselves to be able to be the stud and like that
Yeah.
for their wife, and then they're disappointed when they're not. And when they're disappointed, it's a negative feedback, because it gives them more stress and they put more pressure on themselves, and then their erection gets worse. So the ebook discusses the 5 common mistakes for you to avoid, and give some tips for you to do to really get out of ED, right? So that's the ebook, and I'll give you the link for that. You can put in the show note.
Yeah.
And I also created the Modern Man Club. And once you get the ebook, you can actually get a 30-day free trial to the Modern Man Club. And your listeners can access through the URL mensexualityclub.com.
Okay.
And what that is a club where I coach men with sexual dysfunction to get out of sexual dysfunction, to be able to live their best sex life, because it is possible. It is, and I believe that knowledge is what you need to really transform yourself, because you have to take the action to get out of sexual dysfunction. Nobody can. You can go to therapy and so forth. People can treat you, but you still have to take that step. And sometimes simple steps such as diet, exercise, sleep, stop
Yeah.
smoking, stop porn, and moderate alcohol goes a long way. Those simple things. We're like, oh yeah, I'm tired of hearing, oh, you need to eat better, you need to exercise. But you know what? There's a reason why those things are so simple. Sometimes the
Gotcha.
simplest and the cheapest things actually are the most effective. It's easier for us just to pop a pill and go, okay, pill, Viagra, change my
Yeah.
sex life, right? It's not that
Right.
easy,
Right.
is it? Yeah, it's not that easy. I equate Viagra is almost like taking an opioid pain medication.
Yeah.
It's a band-aid. It gives you short-term relief. In the long run, you'll be in big trouble, because you will become dependent upon it. Because I see men, taking it and they can't perform without it, and they really are dependent upon it. And after a while, it doesn't work for them anymore. So those are my ebook discusses about that. And I that's why I opened up the coaching program
Yeah.
to really coach men on what they need to do to get out of sexual dysfunction, and what they need to continue doing to stay out of sexual dysfunction, because sexual dysfunction parallel very much like weight gain.
Yeah.
You do things that cause you to gain weight, but then you do good things to help you lose weight, right? But if you fall off the bandwagon and you don't eat, you don't exercise, and you don't sleep well, you gain the weight back again, right? So you always
Yeah.
have to be on a maintenance program to keep you regimented. And it's the same thing with sexual health. With sexual health, you got to work at it to keep it. But if you don't start taking care of yourself, then it will go downhill. So I believe that sexual vitality
Yeah.
can be attained until the day you die. Really seriously, because it's a myth that when you get older that you can't enjoy sex or have sex. Because I've seen 87-year-old, 89-year-old patient of mine are living their fullest life, their best life actually at that age, and are having sex 3 to 5 times a week. So that's your
Wow.
barometer. If
Yeah.
my 89-year-old guy can have sex 3 to 5 times a week, and and you're younger than 89, then you need to catch up.
Right. And Doc, talk more about your, because I've seen some of your videos on Instagram, and I know we're short on time. Talk a little bit about some of your videos on Instagram.
Right. Which particular videos? We do
Anyone,
a
anyone.
lot of videos.
Well, that's true too. So what I'll do in the show notes, I'll put a link to your Instagram account so then people could watch it. And where's the best way people can find you?
Right. The best way is I love for you all to subscribe to my podcast. It is available in all platform, Apple or on Android or Spotify. It's called Sexual Health for Men Podcast. All right. And that's number one. And they can also connect with me on YouTube. Check out all my two YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube and type in my handle at Dr. Ann Truong, DrAnneTruong, on YouTube channel. That's the best way. I'm active on them, also on Instagram as well, and at DrAnne_official. And I'll send you all the link. I have a page where I have all those
Yeah.
social link and on the ebook as well. Well, I'll send that to you.
No, great. And I'll definitely add it to the show notes. Well, again, Dr. Ann, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to people on dating. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me being here.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.